All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, we're the brothers here out of Great Millstone, Atlanta. This is Gamali Allah.
Karatazah.
All right, and first and foremost, we want to give all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to all the Akim that are pushing out this truth and sincerity. All right, as you see right here on the screen, we have an article from NBCnews.com, and I'll just get straight into it. It says, Biden thinks Putin will invade Ukraine. Here's why the West is so worried. Okay, it says Russian President Putin has massed an estimated 100,000 troops on Ukraine's border, with the United States and its European allies scrambling to deter an invasion and respond to Kremlin's demands. Although Russia has denied its planning to attack the former Soviet Union, Putin has issued several security demands that have been dismissed by the West, resulting in a diplomatic stalemate. What will Putin's next move be? The question has dominated conversation in the corridors of power in Europe and across the Atlantic, as President Joe Biden looks to ward off what he said will be the most consequential thing that happened in the world in terms of war and peace since World War II. Now, as you see, it said Joe Biden said that's the most consequential thing since World War II. So that's a heavy statement, because what does that mean? That means that we're on the brink of World War III.
Yeah.
If we're talking about something that has something to that magnitude that hasn't happened since World War II, then that's going to be the next step. Is World War III, which is also prophesied in the scriptures. All right, which we're gonna get. You got it.
I'll start off in Book of Revelation, chapter 9, and verse 12. It says, "One woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter."
Right. So, woe means destruction, and it says one woe is past. All right, and there come two more. All right, so if we're talking about woe, something that's destructive, what is more destructive? What is more destructive than a war in which multiple countries are involved?
Right.
All right, so that's what that's talking about. So it says one woe is past. That's the first World War. And then it said two more come.
Right.
Go ahead.
I have another one. Revelation 11-14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly.
Right. The second woe is past. So we read in Revelation 9, it said the first woe was past and two more. In Revelation 11, it says, which Revelations, if you don't know, it skips around a lot. So you have to be able to, you have to have the understanding and know that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To be able to decipher what it's saying. But in this case, it's saying the second woe is past, and the third cometh quickly.
Yeah.
Which is the third World War. You got. You want to add to it?
Just going back to the statement that Joe Biden said, because he basically saying that World War III, if Russia invades Ukraine, then it will start World War III. You know, that's literally what he's saying, man. You know, and people think that, you know, we're fools for saying World War III is around the corner or it's here. You know, but when we clearly see it, you know, being lined up, you know, from miles away. You know, Russia has troops along the Ukraine border and also America, man. You know, this is going to lead to World War III, you know. And also it's going to cause, you know, these other nations, you know, to make alliances with Russia.
Right.
You know?
That's it. And I keep going in the article. Or was that it? You got more?
Yeah, that was it on them too.
Okay, why Ukraine? Russia and Ukraine have been linked by a common history since the 9th century. And I believe Ukraine did belong to NATO. I believe that's where the whole conflict lies, because Ukraine is Russia's neighbor, but Ukraine belonged to NATO.
Yeah,
which
and also they were a part of the Soviet Union,
right.
Ukraine.
Yeah, so Russia and Ukraine have had a long history of working together, but in more recent years, Ukraine has basically dealt with NATO and Russia's enemies. All right, so Russia is concerned, and they want to get NATO back on that.
Or Ukraine.
I'm sorry, yeah, Ukraine. They want to get Ukraine, back in their on their side. Now it says in the early 20th century, the two nations and nearby Belarus formed the Slav core of the communist Soviet Union, like you just said. It said the two neighbors. It says in addition, many Russians and Ukrainians share family ties and speak closely related languages. The two neighbors stayed aligned after the breakup of the USSR in '91, but began drifting apart in 2000s as Kiev sought deeper integration with Europe. All right, it says the relationship had completely soured by 2014 when months of deadly protests and the toppling of Ukraine's pro-Russian government culminated in Moscow's annexing. Russia also threw its weight behind the separatist insurgency in Ukraine's east. So you just keep going, but basically it's exactly what I just said. It says for years Putin has been saying Russians and Ukrainians are so historically and culturally aligned that they are essentially one people.
Yeah, which also Ukraine was moving as an independent country. They didn't really have ties after the breakup with Russia. They really didn't have ties, with anybody.
Right, they did their own thing.
Was the Switzerland?
Mm-hmm.
And so America and Russia are basically fighting, over that, that plot of, that dominance, so to speak. But I had that in Matthew 12. Are you on 24?
24, yeah.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled.
Yeah, roars and rumors of war. So that's all this is, and we've been hearing stuff like this for a long time. You know what I'm saying? There's always going to be some type of heat up, okay, so to speak. Y'all remember in 2020, when 2020 first hit, there was talks of World War III. Jake was playing around with it, joking, but you had the assassination of that guy Soleimani, Iranian general. All right, which so World War III has been on the table, but we're just waiting on really more events to unfold.
Right.
Really, we're waiting on the full prophecy to unfold.
Just to unfold, just to add to your point, because it's just not going to be, Russia and America that's involved in World War III. All of these bigger and smaller countries, such as North Korea, South Korea, big countries like China, all of these countries are, going to be involved in World War III, man.
Right.
Like the scriptures speak about in Joel, the 2nd and 3rd chapter.
Right. And what's happening is, basically these countries are having to pick a side. Okay, because they gotta basically get who they gonna get with before this thing really before this thing really pops off. Now, the prophecy also is that NATO is also even going to turn its back on America as well. All right. So eventually, everyone is going to hate the whore.
Yeah, I'll get that real quick. It's Revelation chapter 17, and I'll go straight to the point. Verse 16. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
Yeah, the 10 horns, which is NATO and the EU, and it says, these shall hate the whore, all right, which is America. So further proving that, these other nations are going to basically turn against America, and they're also going to shoot missiles on America. I mean, we're talking about 20 million, 200 million missiles. Yeah. We're talking about 200 million missiles, so that's everybody.
Right.
Everybody's going to be shooting missiles on America to make 200 million.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that was it on that, right?
I was a little more.
Okay.
This back in Matthew 24 and that was it on that Revelation.
Okay. You can get that. Yeah.
I'll start back at verse 6. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
Mm-hmm.
For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places.
Right. And it said, nation shall rise against nation. So you're going to have nations that are turning against each other, just like we read.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The tension is rising.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately it's Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai who's causing this. And now, because America and Russia has been, which you're going to get in the scriptures as well, but America and Russia has been going back and forth for years now.
Mm-hmm.
So people kind of like act as if it's falling on deaf ears,
Mm-hmm.
on deaf ears, but the Lord is going to put a spirit into these Edomites to just say, fuck it, man.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. We're going to pop off that World War III.
That's it.
All
right, going back to the article, it says, a former KGB officer, Putin, has spent his time in office seeking to restore Russia's position in the world. Oh, let's go to Ezekiel 38 now. Yeah, because it says Putin seeking to restore Russia's position in the world. Because, for some time, America was the dominant power.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there was a period of time where America and Russia would go, they were head to head.
Mm-hmm.
And then, America eclipsed Russia.
Yeah, but with the what's the name of landing on the moon? The so-called landing on the moon. When America said that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You had
race to space. I think that's
space race. Space race. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. And that was also the Cold War.
Yep.
Which was basically a arms race. All right, but it says the increasing presence of NATO established in the wake of World War II as a bulwark against the then Soviet Union. In Eastern Europe and West, close ties with Ukraine have been the crux of Russia's demands in the Ukraine standoff.
Yeah. So this scripture is literally talking about prophecy, man.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get it.
Article, so
Yeah, let's go into it. Yeah, because this is gonna say it. Yeah, go ahead.
This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 1. And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him.
Right, and Gog and Magog is talking about Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but it says set thy face against them.
Mm-hmm.
So the Lord is not with Russia either. Okay, the Lord is not with just because America's gonna be destroyed doesn't mean that the Lord is with the other nations too.
Right.
These other nations gonna get jacked up too.
Exactly.
All right, but the Lord is gonna use Russia for prophecy, so that He's gonna use Russia to fulfill that prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to basically take America down.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
It says, and say, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army.
Right. So that turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, basically meaning the Lord is going to restore Russia's power back, which we just read that because it said that Putin is trying to increase. He's trying to restore Russia's presence in the world. So they want that old thing back. They want that USSR back, spirit back.
Yeah.
All right. Where they were once, toe to toe with America.
Yep. And it says, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, which is that division. Matter of fact, I got to fix that real quick. This Matthew chapter 12 and verse 26, and the Satan cast out Satan, because you gotta understand that even though that they're going against each other, they're still all Edomites. They're just like you got different tribes within Israel. You got different tribes within Esau as well, man. But it says Matthew 12 and 26, and if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall his kingdom stand? So this is the fall of the Edomite, kingdom. World War III.
Right. Yeah, it says Satan divided against Satan. So like we just said, the Lord is with neither of them. He's stirring up both of their spirits to fight each other, and they're both gonna go down. But America, the prophecy is that America is going to be destroyed by nuclear fire, not Russia.
Yeah.
Now, best believe that Russia more than likely will be hit with nukes as well.
Yeah.
Because America's going to be, America got nukes too. Don't think that, everything's just going to hit America and America is not going to shoot none off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, it says, what has Putin demanded? The Kremlin official line amid the current standoff centers on Putin's demands for security, guarantees for Russia that would include a stop to NATO's expansion eastward. So Putin wants NATO to stay west. Not to, don't come out here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is our territory, because you have in the east, in the very east, Eastern Hemisphere, you have what? Russia, and you have China. Okay? Russia, China,
Iran,
India, Iran, all these different nations are in league amongst each other. But yet you have Ukraine in the middle of all that, dealing with NATO.
And more than likely, which me personally, I have to do a little more research. More than likely, they're fighting, for Ukraine because of some sort of resource.
Oh, definitely.
That they have, man.
Definitely.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about money and power.
Yeah, definitely. Of course. Yeah, that's definitely. It's probably something to do with maybe not fuel, but some sort of resource that's the underlying reason why they're really fighting. But there's multiple reasons. It could just be a territorial thing. Yeah. A turf, like you on our turf type of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So whatever it is, it says Esau. How basically Esau divided. It's whatever it is. It's Esau dividing against Esau.
Right.
Whatever the reason may be, they're still coming up against each other, and they still gonna go down. They're still gonna be judged. All right. So it says include a stop to NATO's expansion eastward and a formal veto on Ukraine from ever joining the military alliance. It also wants NATO to roll back its military deployments in the region. The demands would significantly redraw Europe's security landscape and have been largely dismissed by Washington and military alliance. Putin's statements on Ukraine's history and statehood have given rise to a view among Russia observers that he sees Ukraine as unfinished business and wants to follow the seizure of Crimea with further action to bring the country back under Moscow's influence.
Yes, he has dominance.
Yeah.
You know, Russia wants Ukraine, basically under his wing.
Yeah.
You know,
and really rightfully so, because that's his neighbor.
right?
Like let's say you have a house, in a neighborhood, and you used to be cool with your neighbors, but then all of a sudden they started becoming cool. All of a sudden the neighbors, y'all fell out, and the neighbors started becoming cool with your enemies.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna feel unsafe,
right?
because you're gonna be like, damn, like, y'all fucking with my enemies. We used to kick it, so shit, let's get back on good terms. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's keep going. It says he is personally, deeply, and emotionally invested in recovering Russia's former power over his neighbors.
Hey, that goes back to
Ezekiel 38. Yeah.
How you gonna put
hooks into their jaw.
Yeah.
So this thing is real. The scriptures is real. Like, everything we're saying is all prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we're saying is validated by the scriptures.
Yeah.
We didn't just make this thing up. Russia getting its power back. Okay,
right.
we through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, we understand these things,
mm-hmm.
and they're happening right before our eyes.
Yeah.
Now,
quick.
Yeah, that's it on the article. I mean, it's more. Brothers can pull up this article. It's on NBCnews.com. There's a lot more, but for the sake of time, we're not gonna get into all that. We'll just get a few more precepts and close up.
Yeah. This Revelation is chapter 20 and verse. I'll start at verse 7. The point is in 8,
mm-hmm.
and it says, "And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison,
mm-hmm.
and shall go out to deceive the nations, which are in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom..."
Which that 1,000 years, that's actually not talking about World War III. That's where it actually skips and it's talking about something else. But when it said Gog and Magog, what?
It says just at that 1,000 years is basically speaking of when Esau was basically in the Caucasus Mountains as basically cavemen. It says when the 1,000 years are expired, that's basically speaking of the Renaissance era. As far as when Esau started to gain
that's the
Renaissance.
That's when he started to get back his dominance.
Right.
Go ahead.
It says, "And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea." So that's going into how basically Esau is basically going to be gathered together in the land of what Yahweh Shaphat, man. Over there in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord is going to gather all these nations. We can see it.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord is gathering these nations. And it's going to be in the eastern part of the world, man.
Right.
Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, because Russia is basically north of that area, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So they all gonna meet up amongst in that Valley of Jehoshaphat.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And they're gonna be judged.
Mm-hmm. Yahweh Shai is gonna come deal with them at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You can read 2nd Ezra 13.
Yeah.
On that. Was there more?
That was it on that.
Okay, Khan. Yeah. Yeah. So you didn't have anything else? Khan. So yeah, that was just a quick lesson. Dealing with that article, dealing with Russia, World War III. we're going to keep watching and see how these events unfold. Lord willing, you were edified. We're going to end off by giving all praises to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai by Shem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom.
Shalom.